Hey there, this one is for all our Canadian followers that doesn't know or that hasn't been to South Africa yet. This is actually an old clip that I came across just now, and I thought I'll just post it. So this is Loneal. This is where my mom and my sister lives. Loneal is in Fourways in Johannesburg. Now, one thing about South Africa in winter, or Joburg in winter, is it ain't that pretty. You know, it's dry and dusty and smoky, and but it looks a lot better when spring comes around and it's summer and it's all green and the rain clears the air and everything a little bit. And it's not so cold, so you don't have all the people burning wood and stuff and creating this smoke layer across the whole city. This is Loneal Road in front of us. It's the main one. We're driving up to the shopping center quickly to go and pick up some stuff. If you check on the right there's a big security expo. We'll talk about that shortly. So this is Loneal Shopping Center. I mean, it's a cool shopping center. See all these guys with the orange and yellow outfits? These are the car guards, the famous South African car guards. So what these guys do is they stand around and they look after your car, theoretically to stop criminals from stealing your car. Well, I suppose it works. But it's also a little bit of a scam, you know, because the reality is those poor bastards, they have to go and hire those jackets from other people. So there's a company that rents them those jackets, and they've got to pay daily to have that jacket to be identified as a car guard to stand there. And they work purely on tips, which is a bit of a contentious point, you know, because at the one hand, they always ask you for money, and yeah, it's just not one of those. Anyway, back to the security, that big security group that you saw there behind us. Those are like private security. I mean, South Africa, private armed security is huge. Everybody, you have to have that because they're the people that's going to come help you when the crap hits the fan. As a matter of fact, there's actually police stations. I know that there's some police stations in that are protected by ADT private security, as stupid as that sounds. The police station has a sign up that says protected by ADT armed guards. So, go figure. Anyway, another thing here, as you can see as we're driving, all the traffic lights are out because it was load shedding. So in other words, there's no electricity, the traffic lights don't work, and you just get stuck. It treats everything as a stop street, and then of course you have these like giant traffic jams that build up, like the one that we're sitting in right now. Now, South Africans being very entrepreneurial, I suppose. What happened was when load shedding started, you had these guys that were standing, you know, the beggars and the people selling stuff at the traffic lights, some of the homeless people floating around there. And what they would do is they would jump in the middle of the street and start directing traffic. So in other words, they would help people, you know, they would direct traffic because, you know, treating a stop street, a big corner like as a stop street, just backs up the traffic tremendously. So these guys would jump in the middle and start directing traffic and making the traffic flow quicker. And what happened is people started chucking cash out. Saw that? Did you guys see that guy driving on the pavement? It's a general thing in South Africa. But anyway, so people would start chucking out money for these car guards or for these people that help direct the traffic. And they realized very quickly that, oh, this is a lucrative gig. So what happened was they started sabotaging the traffic lights. So even if it wasn't load shedding and the power was on and the traffic lights were working, these guys would find something and stick it into the wires and actually blow the traffic lights so that the traffic light is out so that they could start directing traffic so people could give money to them. So obviously, as you can see how that worked out, there wasn't the unintended consequences, as they say, you know. So then people stopped giving them money because, like, if you give them money, they're going to break the traffic lights so that they can get more money. It's crazy. So that on the left there was Paul's Hof. That's where we stayed before we left South Africa. Beautiful gated community with a lot of crime. Well, there's a lot of crime everywhere in South Africa. This is the N1 highway. We are just driving around on the highway to go visit friends on the other side towards Rosebank. I can't even remember what the area is that they live in, but anyway. These are those things across the road. Those are the doomed toll gates. South Africa went through this whole process where we installed, the government decided unilaterally to install these giant toll gates every 5Ks, and you had to pay like a few rands every 5Ks, and you have to buy these little card, and they just deduct the money from your account all the time. You just like, and they were like, everybody has to pay these tolls. And then basically all South Africans, all the Joburgers just came together and said, no, we're not doing that. So people just didn't pay. They just like, screw that, we're not paying it. Government tried everything. They tried like court cases, they tried everything. But in South Africa, you cannot be locked up for debt. So everybody just ignored it. And I believe they finally switched it off now. They were like, okay, well, fine. After many years, the government gave up. They were like, okay, it's not going to work. Nobody's paying. So that's it. Not actually sure what the status of it is, but I know that, I mean, we actually, at the time when they started this in 2015, we financed some cars through one of the banks, and the bank actually installed e-toll things in the cars. It was part of the deal. You have to have an e-toll thing in the car. And I actually took it out and smashed them with a hammer and was like, no, I'm not paying for this. So that was kind of the feeling, general feeling across everybody in Joburg. They just killed the toll gates. Anyway, so this is the M1 going into Joburg. You know, South Africa is a pretty place, but like I said, Joburg in winter is not necessarily super pretty, and you know, it is a little dirty and all that, but it is what it is. All right. Anyway, the area where my friends live is actually quite a nice area. It's next to Rosebank. Now I can't remember what it's called, but anyway. It's a much older area with bigger homes and, you know, trees and more established. Also more security and things like that. So this is Joburg. This is, look at these big trees. Now you can imagine in summer this always looks beautiful as well when the trees have the leaves and all of that's going on. Anyway, folks, I thought I would just take you on this quick ride. Have a good one. Cheers.